Friday, the 9th of February. This is how the week has come to a final end. Thank God we all made it to Friday. Let's get on to see the trading day for Thursday. Of course, to see the Nigerian market remain in the negative territory. We've done roughly 2.3 trillion naira in the negative side since the start of the week. Investors now piling into fixed income as the Central Bank of Nigeria tried to raise yields on government securities in order to woo foreign portfolio investors. It's all fireworks going on over there at the central bank right now, try to stabilize the naira, invite more FX inflows into the country, and again get the naira beats out of the pressure. The BRVM better by 0.36% on Thursday. The shares of Bank of Africa, Niger Republic, the Bank of Africa based in Senegal, and as well the Orange Telecom of Burkina Faso shares were up and lifting the composite for the regional French-speaking West African exchange based in Cote d'Ivoire. The EGX finished Thursday 1.81%. On the upside, that's 28,411. Thursday is the end of the week. Friday is the start of the weekend in Cairo. The market will be reopening on Sunday. The NSE in Nairobi up by 0.1% as the Kenyan authorities try to take advantage of the markets, planning a samurai bond with the Japanese folks. Then, of course, asking those who are holding the papers of the $2 billion mature in June to step forward ahead of time. All of that in play for President William Ruto. They've got the GSE down 0.79%. Thursday, 73,725. Let's pull that down, roll up what the big news, top stories are from East Africa. And I'm following quite a lot for you. Japan, of course, we heard the news that is in the new deal with the authorities in Nairobi to set up a manufacturing plant for Toyota automobiles in Kenya. That's going to be a biggest news for one of the biggest news for Africa in terms of industrial manufacturing. If putting the boots on the ground for manufacturing Toyota vehicles take place in Kenya. They've got the stock market is retracing because the World Bank is putting hundreds of billions of shillings at the disposal of President William Ruto's administration to support the country's fiscal space. I mentioned a samurai bond earlier, and of course the $2 billion Eurobond maturing. So the stock market could see investors, foreign investors in particular, stepping back into the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Let's step into Uganda, where the public debt stock will be about 15% of the GDP by June. That's the forecast by the authorities. And China is proposing a $1 billion Tanzania-Zambia railway revamp. That's a big news. We've seen also Zambia talking about that Lobito corridor, which will help its mining activities. One of the biggest deal that China is putting together. President Ichilema of Zambia is very enthused by this infrastructure, critical infrastructure that will support the country's mining sector. Part of the conversations at the Mining in Daba conference, which was held this week and ended on Thursday. Then you've got the DR Congo says he wants what you call modern investors. Again, that's all part of the Mining in Daba takeaways to invest in the country's $24 trillion unexplored minerals sector. Of course, DRC has one of the richest mineral resources on the African continent. Those are your updates from East Africa. What's happening in West Africa? Take me there with the Nigerian central bank being in the fast and furious state since the start of the week, all as we prepare for the February 26-27 Monetary Policy Committee. The first that Olayemi Cardoso will be sitting at the top of the table to give Nigerians a sense of direction where interest rates is going, inflation targeting, as well as foreign exchange direction. They'll be fairly focused on. In the meantime, Flutterwave says it's chasing about 6,000 account holders because about 20 billion naira illegal transfers were made via point of sale, what we call a POS, over the last year or so. And now about 35 banks or thereabouts in Nigeria, nearly all the banks in Nigeria, by the way, are being checked by Flutterwave to claw back those funds that were illegally transferred. It's no frauds being alleged yet, but said illegally transferred. 19 billion naira is a pile of cash on the table for Flutterwave. And you got the World Bank Managing Director, Anna Bjerde, is in Nigeria for 2 days, meeting with Minister of Finance and other key officials of Nigerian government in West Africa and Central Africa as well. She's the World Bank Managing Director in charge of operations. The whole idea is to support Africa's development projects across the board. Well, Washington is warming up strongly towards Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa in particular, again, as we see influences of China and Russia coming into play. MIGA, which is the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency of the World Bank, says it's about $458 million, roughly $500 million is at play in terms of its portfolio in Cameroon, Nigeria's neighbor to the east. Gabon, it says planning about 111 billion CFA franc deal to build 6,000 social housing by the year 2025 to support mass housing projects in the country. What's happening in Southern Africa? State of the Nation by President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday evening to the parliament. And of course, he discussed everything from the elections coming up in April to the state of the ANC, corruption, housing, unemployment at about 34% in Africa's most advanced economy. All of that, state of the currency, infrastructure, logistics, utility, problem with Transnet, ESCOM, and everything else in between, crime, and all of that in the portfolio of that very long address by President Ramaphosa. In the meantime, Standard Bank says he sees an upside of about 1.2% in the current quarter for South Africa's economy, and that's some optimism there. ArcelorMittal reporting a full year loss because prices of platinum is down because, of course, China has a bit of a weak demand. Other platinum miners in South Africa are reporting a bit of a slump in earnings for the full year 2023 period. Over in Mozambique, PMI still in the water, 47.8 million in January, slightly better, slightly lower than 48.8 in December. Until you get to 50 and above, you're still in a contractionary mode. That's how the manufacturing PMI reads. In Botswana, is looking to buy back 25% stake in diamond company HB Antwerp. And as Airtel of Malawi says he's renewing his license for 10 years within the country. Congratulations. Let's sum it up in North Africa. Let's bring on what's making the headlines. Egypt is reporting inflation slowing down to about 29.8% in January, lower from 33.7% in December. Some good news for President El-Sisi, who's working all the ropes to ensure that roughly $12 billion in IMF, World Bank, and other partners fund come into the country and help at least moderate the expected devaluation of the Egyptian pound and help sustain its fiscal position. Egypt Gas, listed on the EGX, says it's getting the board approval to raise fresh capital from the market. In Morocco, the Treasury says it's investing 700 million local currency dinars in cash surpluses. And German utility VNG and Algeria's Sonatrach says they got a deal for a pipeline that will supply gas to Germany. That is in the news. And finally, Tunisia, chemical company Chimica Kimia says it's posted a negative 34.33% turnover for the full year ended December 31st, 2023. And those are your headlines this Friday. Thank God we all made it. Enjoy your weekend. Lay back and let's get together again on Monday morning, bright and early, for your Frontier Opening Bell. I am Bosin Namafai. I'll see you soon.